Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on a day very far from my heart, Valentine's Day 2024, but the ball never stops. Welcome back to Phone Booth with my wonderful co-hosts Desmond Michael Gillick and
Hi.
Ryan James Greenhill.
All right, let's do this shit. Let's start off. All right, let's
Middle name
start
Wait,
off with
is
the basics.
your middle
James?
name's James?
No,
I
Shut
thought I got it right. I said it
no,
with enough confidence. I thought I got
no.
that shit
I
right.
just went on with it. I just followed along. All right. Anyway, let's start off with the basics.
Yeah.
How's everyone's teams doing? Desmond, start off.
Well,
Oh my
hey,
god.
every week I've given the same answer. You look in the East, you look in the West. Who has the most wins? Boston Celtics. Who has the least losses? Boston Celtics. Nothing's changed. We'll be back in 2 weeks and it'll be the same answer. The Celtics are the best team in the league and it's never gonna change.
And before
Well,
round
did
two.
Oh man.
plays the Miami Heat for a 7-game series
Hey, come on,
in
come
the
on, guys. Come
playoffs.
on, guys.
Oh.
Come on, guys.
All right. Anyway, let's get off of that.
How the Pacers doing?
Pacers 5-5 in their last 10. Halliburton starting to actually play more than 20 minutes a game. But he's still on this minute restriction, man. Is kind of hurting the team.
Mm.
Not having your star player and just having Siakam, it's fine. But we're just losing games we shouldn't be losing. You know what
Wait, I thought Miles Turner was a player too, no?
Oh yeah, Miles Turner's still there.
Well,
He's playing great
We do have
defense.
2 players.
He's playing great defense. One of the 2 players playing defense on that team.
Oh yeah, that's facts. Him and Pascal are really turning that team's
Yeah.
defensive
Only-
identity around.
Yeah, the only defense on that team still. But hey, it's better than one defensive player. You got 2. All right.
Yeah.
We're 5-5. We're still the 6th seed. We're doing better than what we were doing last season. All right. Now
All
let's
right.
talk about that big city team.
Now,
New
right,
York Knicks.
right now, the New York Knicks are a bit disappointing. But the truth is, we've been injured for weeks now, and I wasn't expecting this luck to hold, especially since we're missing 3 of our most key defensive pieces. We don't have a rim protector right now. We don't even have a center right now. Jericho Sims has been stepping up on the boards, but listen, we need our boys back. Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitch Robb, these guys are like the identity of our team. Is having
Is
2
Randall still out?
great. Yeah, Randall's still out, and OG. Half of almost our entire starting lineup is out, with the exception
Half
of
the
course
people you
the great
traded for.
Jalen. Yeah, of course the great Jalen Brunson and fucking.
I mean,
Isaiah
Bojan's starting to do
Hartenstein.
some stuff.
Yeah,
Hartenstein's
Hartenstein's
not
out.
here.
Yeah, Hartenstein's out. Yeah, both of our centers are out. We're
Bro, you're
missing
like
a
a power
lot,
forward in the
of
bench.
pieces, a lot of Reese's pieces.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I think
well,
it's okay. You know, the Knicks made a couple trades at the deadline. We got Bogey.
yeah.
I like Bojan. I am all right. Listen, Knicks fans, I am not a fan of Alec Burks. I was never a fan of Alec Burks, and I was excited when he came back to the team because I was like, oh my god, remember that first playoff run with D Rose? But then I took a little bit of extra time, and I was like, man, he was also on the team that missed the playoffs, and missed the playoffs again, and we lost to that Hawks team, and he was a big reason of why we lost to them. So, you know. I don't know.
This
I'm
weird flurry spot. But...
Yeah, and I also
Hey,
don't.
Bojan's pretty good.
Bojan is
But
pretty
Alec
good.
Burks
He's been
is
well. I like how Bojan plays because you're watching this dude just actually break it down. He gets the ball and then the other guy just gets scared. I don't know what it is. I saw him literally walk up to the free throw line, just the ball going in between his legs. He got there and he just pulled it and hit it. When have we seen a guy with more balls?
Yeah.
I mean, we got 2 people in the league with the last name Ball.
Yeah.
And you think I think
They
they
don't-
got balls.
They don't got balls like Bogey got balls.
Yeah.
But Alec
But no,
Burks,
I would
There's
say
a guy
listen,
named Ball who doesn't have as many balls, I would say.
Yeah.
we'll
Well, let's
have
get-
the Bull
move
Bull
off topic
Wemby
a little
debate
bit.
later.
Yeah, let's move off topic. just
Ball
for a
Ball
second.
Wemby before.
But no, I think we got to talk about something that's kind of started up a little bit after Monday.
Yeah.
Knicks are protesting the NBA.
Yeah, the Knicks got.
Over
I'm not
a
sure if
provedly wrong call.
I'm not sure
This call
if
was
either
admitted
of
by
you guys
refs.
were watching that game.
I saw
I
clips.
was
I was
not.
I was watching near the end of it, and I heard about this shit through Twitter and all that.
I watched.
Oh, X.
I watched the whole game, and I have never felt like robbed as a fan of a team. There's never been a time where I've watched a game and been like, okay, you know what? The refs robbed us here. Like, usually it's like, listen, I understand how you could make that call, and like, yeah, it was the wrong call, but hey, it's, you know what, it affected the game, but like, I understand how you can make that call. This one was fucking egregious. I have never had.
What's it called?
We were
The refs admitted that they were wrong.
Exactly.
Like, the NBA literally said this
they
is the
came
wrong
out
call.
and they said it's wrong. So this protest should work. We'll have a 5-minute overtime in Houston, where there will be no fans, and the Knicks will probably end up winning the game. But if you guys were watching that game, like, the Knicks were coming back. We were down a lot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And
I saw that.
Willed our way back up. Jalen Brunson hit what I thought was the dagger to overtime, like in a classic star fashion. I was looking at that like, holy shit, didn't Melo do this like exact same thing? It sent us right to overtime where we win that game. But, you know, 0.3 seconds left on the clock. You're chucking up a fucking 3 from half court, and Jalen Brunson's going to guard it with his life. He hits you after the buzzer. And I wouldn't even say, like, it was an illegal contact. The ball's out of your hand. Like, it's already halfway through the fucking sky right now, and he touches you. And you're going to call that? And, of course, they hit it off the backboard, and, you know, you're going to get the rebound and fucking lose the game. The Knicks even tried to call a timeout. There's a clip of Thibs, like plotting up the play, and then the buzzer goes off, and then you just see him, like, scream at the ref. But that shit was heartbreaking. I've never experienced a game so heartbreaking. So I hope that petition works.
The thing is, if this does go through, isn't this wouldn't this be like the second ever time this would actually happen?
Sixth.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Sixth ever
last
time.
Wasn't the last time like the fucking Shaq one in like the Heat in 08?
That I don't know when the last one is, but I do know if
that's what I
usually
remember.
If a protest, I'm not sure if a protest goes through, it usually goes. This time, I think we're literally just gonna see a 5-minute thing where it's like, this is the first time this has ever happened. I don't get how the refs can come out and say it was the wrong call, and the NBA can come out and say it's the wrong call, and instead of just like being like, all right, let's send this bitch to overtime, they were like, yeah, the Heat win.
No, the Rockets.
Yeah. You know what I meant.
Upsetting.
You know what I meant.
Yeah.
It is upsetting. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. This game could cost us a lot. Like, seeding matters this year. Like, the Knicks seem destined, at least in my James Cage White ass destiny eyes, that they're gonna go to the conference finals this year. And if we like clinch that 3 seed, I wouldn't have been scared about seeing the Cavaliers in the second round. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that the Cavaliers have had huge upgrades this year, which is why they're the second seed. They're kind of a monster. But
they're also
I also don't think Jalen Brunson is scared of them. I think that Randall, listen, you didn't play good last year, but you don't have the pressure on you that you did last year. Last year, we're looking at it like this is Randall's team. Jalen Brunson's the second star. We're looking at it from a whole different light. If you guys were watching that Rockets game, it seemed like every possession when Jalen Brunson has the ball, they're going to double him. So that leaves Randall open to do his thing. That leaves DiVincenzo open to do his thing, who, by the way, Jesus Christ, I didn't expect this kid to be this good. I mean, I know we're trying to bring ring and winning culture to the Knicks, but oh my God. This dude stepped up. People were out. Half of our team's out. He's a starter, yeah, but I didn't expect him to go off for 30 points, 26 points, like 8 for fucking 10 threes. This kid's
what's it called?
Menace on the offensive end.
Didn't DiVincenzo play with Brunson at
Villanova? Yeah, that's why we're called the Villanova Knicks. Same with Hart. And listen, I know this is corny, but Hart's got a lot of heart. He plays like a dog. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, that didn't work that well. But no, what's that? Back to DiVincenzo. He's fucking going crazy. Last 6 games, averaging 25 points.
Yeah.
In these last 6 games since the start of February, which is fucking
since
absurd.
the start of February for some weird reason. Dante DiVincenzo, you know.
Hey, he got that dog in him. That's why. Nothing else.
Yeah.
No other
nothing
reasons.
else. No other. Nothing related to the month that it could.
He has
be.
that winning culture and that dog mentality on the team. That they need that mentality at this moment.
I
Half their team's
Sneaky,
fucking
athletic,
injured.
classy
now
player.
this stop
That's not right.
stop with here's my thing. This is the reason why I think Knicks fans are so like ecstatic on the fact that we could make the finals this year. Is one, we're deep, and two, we have culture. Like every person on the Knicks is bought in. All of us are in on the system. Even fucking Mitch Robb, who hasn't played a game all year. Well, you know what I mean, since he got injured.
Yeah.
And even back then, Hartenstein stepped up when Mitch Robb comes out. This is a culture of people stepping up when they need to, and a culture of guys who want to win. It's not all, you look around the league, and at least you see a bunch of teams that just don't care about winning. Like the Hornets are one that's an easy one to call out. Maybe it's certain players, but when they're your star players, no, I wouldn't even say the Pistons. Cade Cunningham wants to win, and it's very obvious that he does.
Yeah, that team just can't win.
Yeah.
It's tough for that. Well,
that team
one
is
win.
afraid of
Hey,
winning
going
right
back
now.
to something we were talking about earlier, one win below the Wizards. So they're coming back. I think the Wizards are going to end up being the worst team in the league this year.
They've won like 4 of their last 7 games right now.
Yeah, because it's looking back, everybody knows that this team is not that bad. They are not a 10-win team. They're not. I don't care who you are. You have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Ivey, and Jalen Duren. Like these guys are serious hoopers, and they're young.
It's just this, there's just this one issue where one of their players, Killian Hayes, just minutes for something.
Well, he. I think that's. Can we talk about this? Because I think this is one of the funniest things in basketball. You are the worst player on a team for years. Everybody knows your ass. Like, if you ask anybody about Killian Hayes, like, the first thing they'll say is, draft mistake, bust, shouldn't have drafted him. Basically, he's the new age Frank Ntilikina.
I'll say more Brian Scalabrine, but I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say that, because Brian Scalabrine was a role player the whole time. Killian Hayes demanded a trade and is probably going to end up back in France. I don't think I know one team that would want him in this offseason or coming up.
Well, he's just cut. He's done.
How are you the worst player on a team and you demand a trade, thinking they won't waive you? They were like, your contract's coming up anyways, and we're not going to re-sign you. Get the fuck off the team.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Well, let's get off of these like bad team topics. Let's go to a team that I would say everyone had high expectations of and had something tragic happen. Joel Embiid torn meniscus.
Yeah.
This is a very big thing that just happened to the Sixers, and well, I don't know how much of an impact it's going to put. Besides, they already went down to the 5 seed.
Yeah.
They haven't playing like they were. They lose their MVP player, and are now 3-7 in their last 10.
Well,
I'm
I
not
gotta
gonna
raise
lie.
I gotta raise a question based off that question. Is, do you guys think they rebuild? I mean,
Oh no, they don't rebuild. I mean, not this season. They have all the pieces, all the players to do this again next
they did
year.
This process for like
Yeah, but
4 or 5 years.
that's what I was gonna
Go
say.
somewhere.
Like, this is the second round, and looking historically throughout the 2000s, that's what the 76ers have been, a second round team. Even when Iguodala was at the helm, like, it seems like nothing changed around there. When I forget whatever his name is, the GM at the time said, we're gonna rebuild and we're gonna get it right, and they didn't. They didn't.
This season, it looked like they got it right. I'm not gonna lie. I was afraid of the Sixers this season. Joel Embiid looked like the MVP that he won last year.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, they were a scary, scary team. I wasn't looking forward to that East. The East had a lot of competition, and now it lost one of its biggest players. I don't think they're gonna make it beyond the first round this year. Now that Embiid's
definitely not.
Look at everyone
Definitely
else.
not.
In the East. I mean, it's too heavy.
Do you have
It's
an
too stacked
estimation
against
on when Embiid's supposed to return?
I don't think
No.
my meniscus is bad, man. My
reevaluated
meniscus
like
is
a month.
really bad. Like, this
Like,
could be the end for Joel Embiid as like that guy, unfortunately. And I don't want it to be. Like, I think we were blessed with seeing Joel Embiid. Well, not seeing, because we barely saw it, but Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic as a rivalry. Like, two dominant big men. Like, these guys are dominant. I don't care what anyone says. If you're playing Joel Embiid, you're a little bit scared. This dude's 7 foot, can shoot J's, can get to the rim. Yeah, he flops. But he's going to get 50 on your fucking favorite team. And him being out for the playoffs, I think, is a disservice.
Yeah.
I think it's upsetting. I don't think... this is going to go back into that conversation about 65 games, which me personally, I think makes sense. I think you should play a lot of games to be qualified for the MVP consideration. But
okay. I say MVP, not the fucking like all NBA teams.
No, all NBA teams doesn't really make too much sense for me.
That's where my issue comes in with that. It's just okay, yeah, do it for like these awards. Most of the awards, yes, make it a 65 game limit, so it makes sense on why they're winning these things. But don't do it for like an all NBA roster.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt a lot of players' legacy and how they're looked at. Because for me, Joel Embiid has always been this guy where it's like, okay, you are one of the most talented players in the league, and you are consistently surrounded with incredible talent. Why can't you get it done? But he has all these accolades, right? All NBA firsts, MVPs.
MVP.
Like he's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now if he stops playing. But the future of Joel Embiid and how he's seen in this league is going to be very shaky, especially with that 65 game rule.
No doubt. It's just, I think he'll still be considered like a top 5 center in the NBA, even with this 65 game rule.
Yes.
But this is kind of, we're now worrying.
No,
and welcome back. The podcast doesn't stop. All right, continue.
I was just talking about like how like Embiid's like, I would say like where his placings are in this like centers race of like, and like where,
I mean, if he's not 1, he's 2. I don't think you can put anyone else above him. I don't think you could put anyone else above.
Maybe Jokic.
Well, you know what I mean. Besides the big 2, like there is not a third party, and who's the best center in the league?
No, here's another question though. We put this on top of that. Can Wemby achieve that?
Yes, no doubt. I think
Wemby already is playing a phenomenal season.
I mean, did you guys see that fucking triple-double with blocks?
On blocks.
With blocks,
yeah.
Man. That's crazy. I don't care. Listen, I'm the guy who likes to joke and be like, still not better than LeBron, man. Still not better. We'll never be Le GOAT, Le Mickey, my glorious
think if
king.
We're talking a face of the league.
But he's next, man.
Wemby.
He's next. I don't care if he's
going
French.
To be that guy.
I don't care what he is. He's next, man. Like I haven't seen someone do this ever. He's like Kevin Durant. Like with the way he can score the ball, and then he has like Kyrie's handles. He did a sham god on Rudy Gobert. Like, how do you get away with that? That did like a 3-time DPOI. You sham godded, and he bit it. He bit on it, man. Like we're seeing a new era of players coming up that makes me excited for when these old guys like leave. Unfortunately, yes, I'm gonna miss Braun and all them, but.
We're gonna miss
Imagine Wemby in his prime. This is him during his rookie year. Imagine this kid in his prime. Imagine Zion in his prime. He's still 22, 23. Like, Zion is young. He hasn't hit anywhere near his prime.
Yeah, but Zion's kind of just like
fat,
injured.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but
I tried to get away.
I like to imagine the best out of all these players, like
fucking John Morant.
Oh my god, it scares me that John Morant got hurt because John Morant was on the path of D Rose, man. And now you look at his team without him,
and now he's actually D Rose.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully he comes back and he can still jump over the skyscrapers of humans we have in the league. But
he has some of the best athleticism currently in the NBA.
It would be a damn shame if he came back and he wasn't the same player, especially after the gun and all the BS. I wanted him to come back and prove to everyone that, hey, listen, I made a mistake. I'm still John Morant. I'm still the most athletic point guard in the league. I can still jump over your favorite center. Like, I don't care who you are. I am better than you. And it's a shame, man. We're looking at, especially now recently with the injury of Joel Embiid, it's scary to look around the league and see all these great players who could be injured and could be gone the next day.
Yeah.
Who's a player you wouldn't want to get injured? No, I'm playing.
I would say, hey, P.
Oh, actually, can I talk
I think
about
so.
something? And this is gonna be a
What?
debate against you, Desmond, because like I've
Oh
been
no,
I've been feeling this
no,
way for
no,
a while.
no.
It's just not happening.
Is Jason Tatum really the guy? Like, let me finish what I want to say first, because you know what, I do talk a lot, but I got this. This has been on my mind for a while. Jason Tatum has been to the finals once, and he
Yeah.
faced Steph Curry and a very, very beatable Warriors team. Like, if we're looking at the help that Jason Tatum had, Robert Covington, Malcolm Brogdon, or did Malcolm Brogdon get there last season, and then he left?
I don't remember
Brogdon, yeah,
numbers.
that's what happens. They made it last year and then he left.
Okay. Well, he still had
Okay.
amazing players. Al Horford,
Yeah.
Marcus Smart. Like, he had a team built around him. And now you fast forward to today. They lost in the finals last year. They're the best team in the league. But as it seems right now, I wouldn't say that Jason Tatum is the leader of that team. I'd say they have 4 all-stars who lead the team collectively. And we all have to look at it and say, can Jason Tatum be the guy? Sorry, excuse me. Can Jason Tatum be the best guy on a team that isn't completely stacked?
No, he wasn't even the best guy last year. He didn't even lead the team alone last year. It was the era of the 2 J's. It was him and Jaylen Brown kind of collectively leading the team. And everyone likes to think of those like Batman and Robin situations. It's not even equivalent to any superhero dynamic I could think of, because it's like 2 great guys combined to become one great guy, as opposed to a team that has like an Omega superstar, Joel Embiid, and then a great sidekick in Maxey. It's Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to combine to be one phenomenal Omega all-star player. And if either of them aren't in sync, then they lose. And there's some nights where it's Taco J, and it's some nights where they can't go left. And when either of those things happen, the Celtics lose. Now we've gotten pretty lucky. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, they're able to boost them up to the point where even if they falter, they don't completely fall off the face of the earth. But Jason Tatum's had some pretty great performances. Last night, he dropped 41. So he's definitely no slouch, but he can't do it by himself.
Would it be fair to say he is more akin to Paul Pierce than Larry Bird?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
without a doubt, to me, Bird made that Celtic squad. Even with all the help that Bird had on those teams, it's not like Bird was carrying nobodies.
It was unquestionable.
He was still the guy. But yeah, Paul Pierce had KG. Paul Pierce had a bunch of other people on that team playing with him. Obviously, when we think of that Celtics run, a lot of people do immediately think Paul Pierce, but a lot of people do immediately think KG.
Yeah,
much like now when you're thinking of the Celtics. Yeah, I mean, but now when I think of the Celtics, I do think of Jason Tatum, but I also think just as much about KP, about Jaylen Brown, about D. White, about every other amazing player in our starting 5. I don't think Jason Tatum even deserves to be in MVP talks, but he's there because they have to look at the best team in the league and go, it's probably their best player that's doing it. And while he is the best player on the team, he's not the guy on the team, if that makes any sense.
That
you
makes
can be the
a lot of
best
sense.
player on the team. You can be the best player on the best team, and theoretically, yeah, he makes sense to be in that MVP discussion, but I don't think he should be put up for MVP. I don't think he should even be considered in the tier of Larry Bird, if I'm being honest. He's just not that type of guy who can put the team on his back some nights and just win the game. He's no MJ. He's no Magic. He's Jason Tatum. He's Taco J more often than he's the Mamba.
Now, I have a question. Now, if you put, like, hypothetically, you had Jason Tatum on, like, I would say, like, I don't know. What's a good, like, team to put him on that, like, he would be the sole star? Like the Pelicans, first of all.
Oh, no. If you put Jason Tatum on the Pelicans, I don't think he's the sole star. I think it's a very similar situation.
No, I mean, no, you swap out Zion. You swap out Zion and, like, Jason Tatum.
They'd be exactly where they are today. I don't think there'd be a difference. And that's 100%. Maybe they'd be a little bit better. I'd say they'd be better, but I don't think they'd be in championship talks, much less contending talks. I think they'd be a first-round playoff exit in the West.
If you swap Tyrese Halliburton with Jason Tatum, I think the Pacers
two completely different
look
positions.
better.
You think the Pacers would look better?
I think the Pacers would look better.
I would have to disagree with you. And
I would say no, just because of play styles.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't replace Jason Tatum with Halliburton and have the same team. Like without Halliburton, respect to the Pacers, that team falls apart. It would not make sense with Jason Tatum being the starting even small forward on that team. He's a ball dominant guy. I think the reason that team works so well is because you have a bunch of guys who can play off ball with Tyrese, who is very willing to give it to them.
Oh, you've seen his assists. He threw that shit at the backboard to pass it to one of his teammates.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it would be possible to swap like two completely different like role players, like where one's a small forward and the other one's a fucking point guard.
Yeah.
You won't get a similar result. They won't play one for one the same, and one team will obviously do worse than the other.
Now, if I take a step back and say that I would replace Jason Tatum with, I'm trying to think of a star. He's a power forward, right? But you could do small forward as well.
Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
If you put him on the Heat immediately get better in my eyes.
Oh,
in my eyes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I also see. I would also
a,
see that if that Celtics team with Jimmy Butler plays that Heat team with Jason Tatum, I think that Celtics team wins in 7, respectfully.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, if it's comes playoffs, Jimmy Butler is a guy that can put his team on his
playoff. Jimmy is a complete different player than normal season.
Than regular season. If the Jimmy Butler Celtics and the Jason Tatum Heat meet 7 times in the regular season, the Jason Tatum Heat win probably 4 or 5 of those games.
Yeah.
But if they meet in the playoffs, then Jimmy Butler is one of those dynamic guys who can put a team on his back in a way that Jason Tatum really can't. I mean, last season I was hoping that Jason Tatum would put the team on his back. He didn't. The hero of the playoffs to me was D. White.
He was the hero, man.
So it's not Jason Tatum's team come playoffs, and it's not even his team like in the regular season. It's a team of the stars, not just a singular star that all the other players revolve around.
And listen, I also think come playoff time, if KP's injured, you guys might be out in the first round. And I know that's a very, very
second round.
hard thing to say. But
I wouldn't say the first.
Porzingis is your rim protection. Porzingis is the reason, at least in my eyes, that your team has become so special. Like, Drew Holiday taking a backseat is something huge, and it needs to be studied for how good that'll be for that team. Like, having an all-star who's just like, I'm chill with being a role player right now. Very cool. Not saying he's a role player.
And
excellent
he's still
starter.
not doing
and
horrible.
Still showing star traits, like being clutch, having the best defense on the team. But without Porzingis, I mean, old man Al, like, I love old man Al. I love I love old man Al. You know I love old man Al. But man, he's not Porzingis. And honestly, nobody in the league is. You don't see a guy who's that good at protecting the rim, going to the rim, and hitting threes like that. You just don't. And it helps that he's having a career year and probably should have been an all-star. You get him into the playoffs, that's your X factor. That's that star that you guys have needed. He works perfectly next to Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like, because they can have off nights, but Porzingis doesn't really have an off night.
Porzingis just plays.
He plays.
He doesn't have these he can have these crazy fucking nights.
Yeah, he can.
Like 40 fucking points, but usually it's just dropping like 20, like high teams,
because
like 20 plus a game.
It's
with
gone.
Just rebounds and assists, and he's just playing just how he's been playing. He's playing well. And
I think it's gone from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's team to a lot more Jason Tatum's and Kristaps Porzingis' team.
I would say this is more of like a three-way custody on this team right now.
It kind of is. I mean, Jaylen Brown isn't where he was last season during the regular season and then most of the playoffs, but he's still no slouch, you know?
Definitely not. Deserves to be an all-star.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very it's a very interesting team to look at with this much talent at every single position, where it's just you can't really say it's one guy's team. It's very much so probably a 3 or 4 man team. Yeah.
That's why I really love how the league looks right now, because the best team in the league isn't even like a star-driven team. Like the New York Knicks, you look over here, I would say we have stars, but we don't have superstars. You look at the Celtics, I think they're built in a way where they have a lot of stars. But
Yeah.
I just don't think that any one of them is a superstar on their own.
I don't think so, just because.
And they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
But now the thing is, can they get to the finals?
Now that's a harder question. That's a very hard question.
That's a question we have to sit on, and we can't really say yes or no at this current point in time.
Well, actually,
we're not even. We're a day before the All-Star break. Yeah. By a mile.
I can tell you. I can't tell you the future. I can just predict it. And my prediction is
Injuries will kill this team.
Yes, if an injury happens to this team come playoff time, and especially if it's someone like Tatum or Porzingis, they're gonna have a fucking seriously hard time.
If it's Jaylen Brown, that's fine.
Well,
maybe
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say if any of them go down, even Drew Holiday, their chances are cut in half. All of them
Drew Holiday
matter
at this moment,
to that team.
He kind of reminds me of like what Marcus Smart was defensively, which is a little bit better.
Well, no, he has the offensive potential. Smart, watching Marcus Smart and Desmond, I'm sure you can agree with me on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Watching Marcus Smart is you're watching this guy play amazing defense, and then he gets the ball, and you're like, why did you shoot that shot? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It went in.
And he'll make it 1 in every 4 times. And then it's like, he can hit those.
But
he can hit those. And then he bricks 3 in a row, and you go, oh.
Exactly. Offensively, he is a detriment to the team, whereas Drew Holiday offensively is like, come on.
It's
like night and day. This dude is hitting the ball. He's hitting the basket. He's hitting everything.
Yeah.
Like he'll put up a 3.
And he's still got good defense.
Yeah, because especially now, it's not his job to be the guy on offense.
And the thing is,
Tim and
culture.
Porzingis' job. Oh, the winning culture. Don't even get me started about how much I love winning culture. That's why I thought bringing Dante DiVincenzo to the Knicks was such a good thing.
Same with recent
OG.
winning culture, not even old winning culture.
Exactly, 2 years ago,
2020s.
They had probably the most entertaining finals in the decade.
Oh no,
in the
I
20s.
agree. I agree. Fucking Giannis dropping 50 points to win.
Exactly.
To fucking beat the Suns. Like who doesn't want
that? Was so fun to watch live. Like Chris Paul really being Chris Paul for like the last time in his career.
Yeah.
At least on that high of a level, because we see now he got to center stage and just like choked.
Chris Paul.
He's just Chris Paul. He's Chris Paul. He's Chris, but he's not Paul.
No,
you know I mean?
Chris Paul didn't used to shoot 7 points in a game 7. Respectfully, that's not who Chris Paul is.
Well,
yeah,
you're not playing against Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson. Chris Paul wouldn't have been worried. You see Chris Paul hit that huge 3 to cut the lead to 47. You know.
Oh, hey man, hey, magic moments, all right, magical moments.
It is magical. Hey, do you guys think that Luka should be MVP?
Ooh.
No.
Ooh, this MVP conversation?
Yeah, because
SGA, man. I'm kind of on this SGA trend at the moment. I see what you mean with Luka, though.
Jokic or SGA.
I'm on the SGA train, but if Luka wins 50, he deserves MVP. I'm sorry.
I would say here's what I say. This is like if we were going to compare this thing, this is kind of like the NFL at the moment. Not really fully. Where it's like you have 3 like I would say MVP options at this moment in time that everyone could agree on. Of Jokic, Luka, SGA.
No Giannis.
Ooh, I forgot
I think
about
Giannis.
I forgot
maybe
about
Giannis deserves to be in it over
Giannis.
Luka. I mean,
I
don't think
definitely
over
not over Luka.
I think over.
Jokic.
I think maybe.
Here's my thing with
Giannis
Luka. Here's my thing with Luka, though. Desmond, here's my thing with Luka. If he has 34, 8, and 9, his stats go down. Like, he's averaging such an insane amount. Like, these are fucking Wilt numbers, man. Like, this is like prime Russ. Like, when you look back, like, averaging a triple-double is crazy. Luka's not averaging a triple-double. He's almost. He's like
close.
I think a rebound away from a triple double. Like, I look at it from this big end. If Luka makes the playoffs right now with this team, I think Luka can fucking win a couple games. I think he can
Speaking of
get
this
out of the
team,
first round, especially with the Gafford trade, especially with the
And
PJ
PJ
Washington.
Washington?
I was not
You know
big
what?
on Gafford. Turns out it was literally just a situation.
All right,
I
I
was
would say
such a
this right
big
now.
like, yo, what? Who the hell even is Gafford? Like, how
Let's
can he
bring
be
up
this
this.
good?
Let's bring up this.
He's
trade
like Tyson
conversation.
Chandler for that fucking team.
All right, Miles. I say let's talk about this trade conversation. Trade deadline just happened. What happened?
Very sad.
Bunch of
My
things
favorite
happened today.
former Celtics legend, sadly, now plays for the Charlotte Hornets. Grant
That man-
Batman Williams.
Hey,
That
but
man went to a new Gotham.
truth is, I think he's gonna do a lot of good for that team. Him and Seth Curry, those are the guys you want. They have winning culture. I love Grant Williams. I think he was wasted in the Mavericks, and I also think you got to talk about, is the Mavericks locker room really that good? You see stars who want to leave the Mavericks. Jalen Brunson didn't want to stay there. Kristaps Porzingis left. I'm not sure if he got traded or if he left. I'm pretty sure he got traded. Porzingis was on the Mavericks for 3 years. He went there right after he left the Knicks. And coming off that ACL injury, he wasn't the best there. But, I mean, listen, the Mavericks kind of threw away a championship roster because they didn't want to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not even because of that. Why do you think that when stars and great players are in the Mavericks on their team, they just play worse?
I
Things
really
for
don't
this like
think
Luka
the
ball
Mavs.
dominancy at this moment,
It's not.
like having the
Luka has
star.
to be ball dominant because there's no one else on the team.
That's not true.
Right?
He has Kyrie.
Kyrie is Kyrie, man. Like,
I
he's a
hate
good-
the fact that you
he's a
said
good-
that.
Hey, man, I hate Kyrie because he's on Les Celtics.
Well,
he
yeah.
did the thing.
But we also have to, like, we got to acknowledge Kyrie's still pretty young, and like he's kind of still one of the best point guards in the league. Like, I would say he's still top 5. If you can name me if you can name me 5 better point guards, listen. You got Curry, you got Halliburton, you got Brunson. After that, who's really better than Kyrie? Trae Young, maybe? I wouldn't even say Trae Young.
Luka?
Luka.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they're on the
it
same
is tough
team,
when
so I
there's
wasn't going to say
Yeah.
Luka.
But like, I feel like you have to put Luka in that. Like,
I mean, you
And Ja. I mean, I would rather have.
I would rather have
Ja
Ja than
than-
Kyrie on my team
Yeah.
right now
I would say-
because
I
of
would
their
say that- I'd
age.
say there's
But if we're
5 separate
talking
point
about
guards.
talent, you put Kyrie right now on that Grizzlies team, and they're probably the exact same.
I would say completely.
Yeah.
You would definitely lose a little bit of that speed that team has. A little bit of that.
You're
little bit of that
right.
jump.
But what Kyrie brings is creativity. Like, you don't see people play the way Kyrie plays today. I just don't know why you don't see these guys mean mugging the ball like Kyrie. Like, hey, give me that ball and I'm going to get you some points. Like, and you're going to see me do crazy dribble moves and I'm going to fake out the best point guards in the league. And they're going to walk away being like, how the hell do I guard that guy?
And he's like, how old is that?
He's probably 30, 31.
He's 33, I'm pretty sure.
33. All right, maybe
I think-
maybe I'm cooked. Maybe I'm cooked.
Yeah, didn't he?
2011?
enter the league?
2011,
yeah.
2011.
I mean, it's been
13 years.
It's been 12 years old,
Yeah.
man. Oh, it's 13.
It's-
We are in our current year. I
Yeah.
forgot.
Like, it's
Maybe
been
I'm
a minute
overrating
now.
Kyrie because I mean Kyrie's just like, hey, it's my tendency, man.
Yeah,
to,
no,
like-
he was the
well,
guy in
Kyrie,
2016.
he was our guy. Like, for most, like, for like our demographic, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, for a good amount of us. Like, he
who's
was
the guy
that point guard I looked at besides Russell Westbrook.
who
like-
I started watching basketball and like I'm
started watching-
gonna keep it real. 2021. My buddy said, ironically, Oates said, hey, this guy named Julius Randle's on the Knicks and he's going crazy. And I was like, what? The Knicks are trash. They've always been trash, right? And I saw, and this is really ironic considering how he's viewed today, but I watched Randle put up like, what, 40, 50? The first Knicks game
Kyrie's
I ever
31.
watched. And he was one
Kyrie's
of those
30.
guys who I mean, back in 2021, I loved watching Randall play. Actually loved. Made me fall in love with basketball. This dude's getting doubled, and he's just going to hit a turnaround jumper. And then I watched D Rose put up 40 points in the playoffs. That hooked me. And,
Yeah,
we
no,
obviously
for
we
me-
lose to the Hawks, but after that, I see. What? What's that? What were you going to say?
Nah, I was just saying fuck the Hawks.
Fuck the
Fuck
Hawks,
Trey.
yeah.
Fuck Trey Young.
But
Hate Trey Young.
I watched
So when they-
that 2021 playoffs like it was the first playoffs that I really watched because it's what got me into sports. That playoffs, every game, it felt like it was real. It felt like anyone could win at any time. It felt like when the Celtics were playing the Heat, oh my God, it was a slugfest of these colossal teams. Like, these guys were otherworldly. Jimmy Butler was playing out of his fucking mind. Jason Tatum. Oh, wait, no, that's the year where it's Bucks Cavs. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Giannis Antetokounmpo
Yeah, I was-
is playing out of
I was
his
the same.
mind. And Jason Tatum is playing out of his mind, putting up like 50 bombs back when I thought that Jason Tatum was the future of the league. And I look
He
now
still could
and
be.
I guess the question I wanted to ask, who's a player that you guys watched that made you fall in love with basketball?
I
For me, it's D Rose. And not even good D Rose. Not even Bulls D Rose. Knicks 34-year-old Derrick Rose when Thibs was like,
UACL's torn.
and Thibs was like, all right, carry the team. And he did.
And they let him cook.
They didn't just let him cook. They gave him a chef hat. They gave him all the materials to cook. And they said, hey, if you don't want to pass, you don't have to. And he still did. That's the player who I watched that I fell in love with basketball. Very,
For me-
very quickly followed by Emmanuel Quickly.
For me, if I had to pick one, I started watching, I think it was around like 2016. So this was like, it was right before that fucking LeBron 3-1 comeback, but it wasn't Bron for me. And it was
Who?
this guy named James Harden.
James
Okay.
Harden.
Houston Rockets, James Harden, the beard.
Mm.
That watching him play, I was like, damn, this shit's kind of fucking cool. These things before then, I didn't watch the same amount of sports. Like, yeah, I watched like football here and there with my dad, and then, and also the same with fucking baseball. I know what the fuck was happening in baseball, and I would leave probably after 4 innings. But I remember I was like TV was on there, just fucking basketball. I forget who the fuck Houston was playing, but I was just watching just this guy with a big ass beard fucking hook people.
Oh, man.
I was like, damn, it's just kind of fun. I'll keep watching this. And then I just watch it whenever it's on. And I loved it.
Going
And then-
back and watching his highlights is otherworldly, man.
And then a little bit after, I saw this guy named Russell Westbrook. and then everything fucking changed.
Everything changed. What about you, Desmond?
I'm gonna be honest. On this Valentine's Day, I have to say I don't love basketball the way that my two co-hosts do. I like basketball. I like watching it. I've yet to truly fall head over heels for this sport, for this league. No player's been able
this
to get me
white
there.
guy named Larry Bird.
If only they could put me in a time
Wow.
machine and I could go back and watch peak
With
Larry
all due
Bird,
respect, the reason you don't
Bill
love
Walton.
love the game is because you got fucking Jason Tatum as a star player on your
Yeah,
team.
like I mean, really, there's no stars that just shine so bright on the Celtics that I lose my mind. That my mind is melted while watching. I mean, I love the little characters on the team.
Master
Last year, I
Terry.
loved how deep the bench was. How there were so many little fun characters that would come out. I mean, Time Lord. You had the Buffalo D White. You had so many guys. But now it's just this team of stars. They're winning so much. I'm not really actively watching basketball. I just get to come in and watch a game here or there at work, and then I get to show up and then say, hey, the Boston Celtics are still the best team in the league, still the most wins in either conference. I've yet to fall in love with the sport to the point where I need to put on a game and watch all 4 quarters.
I don't ever feel the need to do it unless it's a Knicks game, though. Like, if I'm not
Yeah.
busy and I'm chilling and the Knicks are playing, I'm watching that Knicks game.
Yeah, for me, some
Yeah.
Pacers and the Clippers. I just keep watching the Clippers because it's fucking fun.
The Clippers
It's
recently.
insane.
Hey, maybe we should talk about the
Hey,
Clippers.
it's a 30-plus-year-old big three, and they're the 3 seed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, I don't know how it is over there. I haven't been watching too much Western Conference
They're the 3
basketball.
seed at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, it's kind of funny. The only basketball that I do watch is Western Conference. They're all the night games, so I do get to watch like all the late games at work if I'm closing.
yeah, you get to
Clippers
watch
look
the
great.
Timberwolves.
Kings look great. T-Wolves not really. They play a bit early.
Bro,
Ooh,
But
the
like
T-Wolves,
specifically
Ooh,
California teams are the ones that I
T-Wolves
get
are back
to
in the
catch.
Western.
Yeah.
the T-Wolves for
But it's
me
not
are
like a
like
commanding one seed, you know?
they're not
Like
really
now
gonna
the
be a
top
team
four
that
are
we're
just
gonna
like
be.
a game or 2 games behind the T-Wolves. Like
And I think
they're not untouchable in the West.
I think all those teams are better than them too. Like I think the Clippers are better than
Yeah.
the T-Wolves. I think that the okay,
Thunder,
because yeah,
Nuggets.
the Thunder and the Nuggets are better than the T-Wolves. I think the truth about the T-Wolves is Ant's gonna take them somewhere as long as they're a top 4 seed. If they're a top 4 seed, get the ball to Ant, see what they can do. I am honestly for Timberwolves fans, I don't know how they feel about Cat. But for me, I feel like Cat's a bad guy to have. A bad star. If Cat was a guy who was just, hey, I'm coming here and I'm gonna play, and I don't get paid $100 million a year, I would love to have Cat on my team. Cat's a lot of salary with a lot of flaws, sort of like Jaylen Brown. I put them in a very similar
Kansas Cat can go
category.
left.
Well, no. I mean, like, let's really think about it. If you're paying somebody $360 million over the next 5 years, every little thing that he does wrong is going to be a big thing, which is what I see with Cat as well. Cat had a 62-point game the other day, and his coach came out and said that it was sloppy basketball.
Yeah, because he also took like double the amount of shots everyone else did.
Exactly. And that's my issue with Cat, is that I think Cat is very selfish, and I think that's going to hurt the Timberwolves. I think that Cat still thinks it's his team. I think it was his team for a very long time, and they were very bad when it was Cat's team. They were always very bad. Except for when Jimmy Butler was there for that one season and they made the playoffs as
Jimmy
the first
Butler.
seed.
And Jimmy Butler beat all of them with the third seeds. And
Exactly.
that's what you
I
fucking
think
need,
he's under the impression like, yo, this is my team. Like, Ant's good, but he's not better than me. And I got Gobert, who's like, Gobert is the reason why I think they're so good right now. I'm not a big fan of Gobert, but he perfectly complements all of Cat's weaknesses. It's time to hand over the reins. I think it's time to fully be like, all right, it's Ant's team. Let's get Gobert out of here. Let's get Cat out of here. And you know what? Yeah, they're the first seed in the West. And I know that saying this is like, that makes no sense. Like, how could they be the first team and you're saying first seed and you're saying that they should rebuild? I'm saying they're not making it out of the second round. And it doesn't matter how good you are in the regular season. If the second round comes and Cat still underperforms like he does every year in the first round, and Gobert underperforms too. Like, I mean, these guys are notorious playoff chokers. I haven't seen Ant a lot in the playoffs, but every time I see him play in the regular season, I'm impressed. Every time I see him play, I'm impressed. Like, this dude could be the next coming of Jordan. He plays hard on every aspect of the court. Defense, offense, with the ball in his hands, ball not in his hands, and you got a guy like Cat, man. Like, you pass the ball to Cat, he should be able to hit an open shot, and sometimes he just doesn't. So if I'm the Timberwolves organization, I see the position I'm in, and I personally would have tried to get Cat and Gobert out of there by the trade deadline.
I would say maybe Cat. I don't know. Gobert defense is really just.
Hey, man.
I would say it's a part of that team.
You're right.
Gobert brings defense wise.
You're right, but let's say you replace Cat with Evan Mobley. Like, Gobert suddenly no longer has a reason to be there.
Yeah.
But Gobert, the reason that he's so good there is because of all of Cat's misfortunes and how bad he is on defense and that he isn't clutch.
Yeah, but or the Wolves had someone like, I don't know, maybe Laura Market now instead of Cat.
Exactly. Like that looks way better. And Laurie
Because
Marketing can
then
play defense.
and Gobert could still stay because Market is still that scoring player. He's
Exactly.
still that player that's more of a score first like option.
Yeah,
Especially with Gobert there, he would more be able to focus on that. He's still being insanely good defense. But
it's hard for me to look at this T Wolves team as anything more than a second round exit. I'm not sure. How do you guys feel? Do you guys think that the Timberwolves have a chance?
they have a
If
chance based on how
all
they
the
play.
stars align,
And they
they can
play like the
probably.
Suns.
Yeah. If they play a weak team, yeah. If you put like I don't know,
Like the
T Wolves
Pelicans.
Mavs or T Wolves Pelicans, T Wolves Suns, even I think they could win those games.
And that's saying that also one of those teams made it out of the first round too.
I think yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think they could do it.
I don't see any of those teams making it out of the first round, especially against these dominant top seeds. Like everybody in the league, well, everybody that I've talked to kind of expects the Nuggets just to win again. And I do too,
Kind
like
of.
to be honest. I don't see anyone around the league right now besides maybe the Thunder in the
That
West
just
that can
like
really challenge Jokic. Uh in the East
could
too,
you say
it's hard to tell,
maybe the
man.
Clippers?
I don't think
Like
the Clippers could beat the
well, I mean,
Nuggets
the thing is,
realistically.
Clippers are 7-3. Kawhi, I think, has been out for a little bit.
The truth is, you need a guy who can really make it hard for Jokic to do what he does best.
Past.
Yeah,
Not just
and
a
that
pass.
that player sadly is on the Hornets right now. So
Okay.
That man
Yes.
really
Yes.
out
Fact.
there. His
Mark my
logo.
kid
words.
lock.
Mark my words. Grant Williams is the best player on the Hornets.
Only
That
person
is
ever
true.
stopped the Joker.
That is true.
But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
if we're
I
gonna talk
want to
about
see
mark my
Lonzo
words,
Ball up and down.
the
I want to see
only guy
LaMelo
on
try.
the only guy in the West who I think has like the potential to really screw with Jokic and is on a great team like the Nuggets, the Thunder, it's not Gobert, it's Chet Holmgren. He's a rookie, but
Yeah.
this guy has otherworldly basketball IQ. Like the way he doesn't jump when people like I don't see this guy jump too often because he could just sit there with his arms up. And then
just
as soon as he
smack him
notices
down.
you jump, he needs to jump. He has incredible defensive IQ, and I think the reason that this Thunder team is so good is because last year we saw that Shea was going to be a demon. And there was this hole. There was this hole in their game. And everyone's like, man, like something's missing from this team. You know what was missing? Chet fucking Holmgren. And he's shown it. Came into the league, hits threes, plays defense at a high level. He's like Porzingis, but honestly,
So,
kind of better.
Yeah. Hard to argue.
And
I mean, he'll be phenomenal in 3 years. You know.
I think he's
Not
going to be
even,
one of
maybe.
this. I think we're going to have a very similar Russell Westbrook, Kevin
AD,
Durant thing over there because that dude is given. He isn't given the same caliber of scorer Kevin Durant is, but his mental way better on defense. Works off of Shea so well, incredibly
now,
well.
now, if we can go off topic for a second, I
Of course.
did notice a certain message in Mark My Words.
Oh,
Oh,
Raptors will win.
win
Oh,
the chip.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Well, that is true. They do have the future of the league, Kelly Olynyk, after the trade deadline. Uh, Kelly, one of the greats, one of the best to ever do it. The Raptors, they're due. They're due for a big win. They have. Oh, and
They
now
won
they're
in the
gonna.
past 5 years.
Can
Hey,
I-
man, they're due. And they're a team from Canada.
Can I say something that's
Like-
been hurting my soul?
What, man?
It hurts that Quickly got traded, and at least from initial looks, it doesn't look like he's even close to the same player he was on the Knicks. Whether, listen, I granted I haven't watched a lot of Raptors games.
Right.
I've been very busy.
Yeah.
I don't get to see as much basketball as I'd like, but every time I see a stat of his come up, it's always negative, man. Like when I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm just chilling and the rare Raptors tweet finds its way in my feed, It's really negative, and it's usually about Emmanuel Quickly, and that kind of hurts to see, man. I thought he was next. I thought when we traded Quickly and RJ that we made a huge mistake. I was like, that's the future. Like, that's our team. And now it's looking like maybe we won the trade, like, by a lot.
We also gave a picture for it.
What?
Yeah, and
Did you give up picks?
you did also give up pick consideration.
One. I think a second round.
Well, that could
It's
be
not
the
a
next
jury,
Michael
is
Jordan.
it
You
this
could have just traded that
building
away.
thing?
So
Yeah, that second round is gonna be the next MJ.
yeah, hey man.
Hey,
Tom
Jokic
Brady,
was picked
number
47.
199. Yeah, people slide, and that's a second rounder, and that's gonna be the next LeBron.
Listen, I just don't see how. I just don't get how you can go from, literally, like, he was my favorite player before we traded him. He was my favorite player.
Over
I like.
Randall?
Oh yeah, way over Randall. Like, you're seeing this dude
You
with.
were able to relax with him.
Listen, just because I like relaxing with Randall doesn't mean everybody in New York does. And
No,
well, a lot of people really hate when he relaxes, but you know what? It's part of his charm. When it comes to a guy like Emmanuel Quickly, though, like, he was hot every night. I feel like the bench was like, yeah. Before we did all these trades, our bench wasn't the best. That's cap. We had Hart. We had a bunch of people on that bench. But Quickly was the guy who was going to score off the bench. Like, he was going to come out. He was going to drop 20 on your favorite team off the bench. And sometimes he dropped the rare 50 bomb on the Celtics. But I don't know. I think he's going to be a free agent next year. I don't even think they have his bird rights. I'd be surprised if Emmanuel Quickly stayed in Toronto. And it hurts to see, because I'm a fan of his. It hurts to see that he's in such a stretch.
yeah.
Any players disappointing you guys? Like, I feel like Desmond for you would probably be Marcus Smart, no?
Oh yeah, I mean that's just that like sucks to see. I can't believe how bad he is on the Grizzlies. He's not nearly the same caliber as he was on the Celtics. During the time when the team needed to lean on him in the early point, he couldn't do it, and now that Jaw's out again, he can't do it. I mean, when I think the Grizzlies, I think Desmond Bane, I think Jaren Jackson Jr., I don't think Marcus Smart. I keep forgetting that Marcus Smart is A, in the league, and then B, on the Grizzlies. Yeah. It's sad how off the face of the earth he has fallen for me.
You know what else kind of has me upset? Obi Toppin, man. Like, jeez. I'm not sure if you were watching the Knicks game we played against the Pacers the other night. You guys won. Granted, we, once again, missing 4 players. But
yeah,
this dude is not the same. Stop trying to say that like it means anything when you're playing the Knicks.
I mean,
Hallie played. Hallie gets to play. You know who doesn't? Randall, OG, Mitch Robb, Hartenstein. You know, half our team.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and you know, it is sad when you're trying to bring up a player on the Pacers that isn't Siakam, Turner, Halliburton, because they're just not real. You know, that team does only have 3 players, unfortunately. So Obi Toppin expected that Obi Toppin would be mid.
Well,
that's not.
I thought he was going to go there and flourish. He was their starting power forward, and it kind of seems like he got left behind. Like, they traded for Siakam, and they were like, "Oh fuck, you were supposed to be in that trade, weren't you?" Ah, shit. Well, you can come off the bench for us. And then he tried to fucking show out. He tried to do an in between the legs dunk against the Knicks, and it hit the rim. Like, he stuffed the ball into the rim, and he fucked it up. Like, I just don't get how you were such. Literally 2 years ago, I was like, this guy's the next up for our team. Like, we could trade Randall, and today he could be our starter. To maybe this guy is a role player. And not even a role player, an okay role player. That's another one that stung with me. What about you, Ryan?
If you're saying like disappointments.
No, from your team disappointment.
From general disappointments?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I would say probably Benedict Mathurin, just because he's not the exact same player he was from last season. He didn't take that step that like most people were really expecting off of him. Like, yeah, he like definitely did. He's definitely doing a lot better, but like
it's not the same.
1 second. I need to pull up fucking Benedict Mathurin's like stats from last year.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of players I used to really like not do the best. RJ's been killing it though.
You know,
That doesn't make me too happy. But
So Benedict Mathurin
why
averaged
couldn't you have done that over here?
16, 4, and 1 last season.
Yeah.
All right, and in 2024, 14, 3, and 1.
Yeah.
He's not playing at that same caliber that we expect him to like take that step in,
Hold on.
and he's taking a step back. He's
He
playing
averaged
worse.
14, 3, and 1 last year?
No, this season.
What
He
did
was
he
averaging
average?
16.
16, 3, and 1?
Yeah, he's playing worse.
Well, I mean, look at his field goal percentage. Is it higher?
Let me check. So 2023, like 2022, 2023 season, he had a 43% for the field. Let me check 2024. This season, he is averaging 45%.
So, he I mean, that's not substantial enough to drop, what, 2 points?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you also got to see he's on a team with
He
better
has a higher
players
field goal
now.
percentage.
He last year they weren't. Well, they didn't even make the play in, right?
No, they're kind of shit. They're like the bottom.
He was one of the main pieces on that team last
It
year.
was him, Turner, and Halley.
You introduce guys like Siakam, Obi Toppin. Like, you got guys who came in to sort of replace the things he did, as in score. He doesn't need to score as much now because he has guys around him who really can score better than him.
Well, if you're saying that, then he needs to raise those numbers up in rebounds and assists, which he hasn't.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
He's not average like 3.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists.
Huge.
That's not that much of a change from last season for him to like take this step back in like points.
That's why I'm so hyped about Deuce McBride on the fucking Knicks. This kid is insane. I thought this dude was just like my buddy Joe would always be like, Deuce McBride is next up. If we ever traded quickly, we have a guy here who could do exactly what he did and more. I was like, shut your bitch ass up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then he's playing, and I'm like, oh my god, this is quickly with defense. Maybe even a bit better. Like, he's the opposite of a disappointment. He's been playing insane to standards that he shouldn't. To standards that should not be set of him to play. And he's been our option behind Brunson and our best option behind Brunson when it comes to the guard position.
Now, I would say let's take a step away from this. Let's talk about the funniest part of this most recent thing, the mid-off.
No, the mid-off.
Nurkic versus Draymond.
Jesus, man. I don't get how you can have
Nurkic,
beef in the league.
Nurkic was saying some shit on like Twitter. Draymond, on his most recent podcast episode, from what I've seen on like...
Didn't he punch him in the face?
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
when
he did.
When he got suspended, but like I'm saying after that.
This is new beef?
Yeah, this is...
This doesn't have any... Oh, it's
continued
continued.
beef.
Oh, okay.
This is a continued beef of the mid-off. And this was Draymond he was just throwing shit at him on his podcast the entire time.
What did he do for this to happen?
Nurkic said some things.
That's it?
Nurkic said some shit on Twitter, so Draymond had to clap back. But instead of him saying, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Oh, he just said your ass.
Yeah, Nurkic said to him, it's like, hey man, you guys keep spending less time on these podcasts so you don't miss your therapy sessions.
Okay, that's crazy.
And then Draymond just like essentially just called him a big softie like the entire time on his podcast.
Yeah.
Like he just does alone. Like it's just him talking shit pretty much. If you look at like most of the episodes, not like most of them, like a good amount of them. So it's just him talking shit about Nurkic most of that episode.
I think it's really funny.
What I want to see either those two teams in the play-in playoffs.
Oh, they'll each other. Don't worry, we'll see them in the play-in.
I want to see, and the thing is, if one of those players drops over 10 points, it's over for the other one.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think that Draymond is making great progress. That's how I feel about the beef. Because instead of swinging on him, he made a podcast about him. Good job, Draymond.
He spent more time doing that than
Good job,
swinging.
man. And
I would
I
say
think Jurkic is an actual bum, though.
yeah, probably. I would say we could. I would say before we end this off, let's go to the other sport. NFL just ended. Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Taylor Swift
Yeah,
won the Super Bowl.
I that one was really
Chiefs won
sad.
another one.
I working could not watch the entire game. I only got to see bits and pieces, only the highlights. And then of course the entirety of overtime. Very mad that the game went to overtime. I work at Buffalo Wild Wings. We give out like 6 free wings since the game went into overtime, but nobody knows about it. So I assume that on the day of, everyone's going to be calling, asking the rule. No one knows the rule. This is the first year we're doing it. This sucks. It just had to be this year, and it just had to be the game that goes into overtime. Not a fan. Not a fan of how this game went.
I wasn't a fan of watching the game. I was watching the whole thing, and I was just like, this sucks. I'm watching two teams that I hate, that I didn't even want to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, Lamar Jackson could have been here, and that would have been
Jared
historic.
Goff.
Or Jared Goff could have been here, and that would have been historic. And I think both of those teams would have put on a better show than
Yeah, no,
the 76, the 49ers or the Chiefs did. I think, I mean, obviously, I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs. Mahomes is the most talented quarterback in the league, and they're
No one can
probably
deny
going to
that.
repeat next year.
Now the thing is, the worst part about this is a second year a New York legend was the reason they won a Super Bowl.
Oh
Last
my
year,
god. And
Kadarius
that
Toney,
one sucked.
Giants legend. This year, Jets legend, Cole Hardman. I don't think he put a snap of football on that fucking team before he got cut, but he was on that team this year.
What happened to
Caught the game
Kadarius
winning
Toney?
throw.
I thought he was good, and then all year he's
He
just
was
been
never
horrible.
good. He was
No,
never good.
He was never good. He was never
He
good.
was kind of just
That
shit the whole
was
time.
that was maybe our biggest smoke and mirrors ever. I remember when he got traded, that Mon Patel came into our classroom and was like, "This sucks. This sucks. We traded one of our only receivers for a first-round pick and a conditional second-round pick. This sucks." And I was like, "Yeah, it does suck." And then it turns out that Kadarius Toney is a bum. Not even
Yeah.
just a bum, like a generational bum.
He's caused so many
Giants-
interceptions.
Giants, big win for the Giants. He only caught like one touchdown, and of course, the only touchdown pass that he catches is in the Super Bowl or whatever. So I'm mad. I'm mad that it's happened twice. That New York is just a mid-generator receiver that can catch one touchdown pass in the Super Bowl for the Chiefs, but it is what it is.
Wait,
Huh.
we
Hey guys,
also did.
ESPN notification. Hold up. Two
Oh,
people were taken into custody and shooting at
Oh,
the
what?
Kansas City Chiefs parade that left one person dead and 10 to 15 injured.
Oh my god.
Shit, Brock Purdy.
Oh my god.
Find out where Brock Purdy was.
This literally just got the notification. This happened at 3:40 p.m. The actual thing. Fucking shooting at the Chiefs victory parade.
Of course, man.
Wow.
Someone really thought Taylor Swift was going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to get political on this show?
No, it's not good political.
Okay.
We can't bring up Kanye.
Well, I'm not going to bring up Kanye. I was going to bring up how I think it's really fucked up how people are, like, giving all this backlash to Taylor Swift, and, like, she kind of didn't do anything.
She did nothing wrong.
Yeah, she
It's
kind of
just-
was just a
she's-
fan of her boyfriend's team.
Like,
She
oh
was
my
just a fan of
god,
her home
like,
team.
good job,
This is
Taylor.
this is where she lives and like everything.
Well,
for, like, ever.
no, it's not even that. It's just, how do you get a wave of hate for doing something that, if I had a girlfriend that supportive, I would be on fucking cloud 9. But
I
instead,
think it's
I have
because of the
nothing.
Chiefs. I think it's because
Yeah.
of the Chiefs. Like,
I mean, obviously
in
it's
reality,
the Chiefs.
it
And
is because the Chiefs are a thing.
that
is
bro
why-
did yell at Andy Reid.
Oh my
Yeah.
I
God,
didn't
the
like
memes are
that at
so
all.
The memes are so fucking
I mean,
funny,
obviously they won, and what he was yelling about, he was justified in. Like, they should not ever have him off the field. He's a Hall of Famer. But
though. He's a I would say top 5 tight end all time. He's not top 3.
ooh, you're gonna make a lot of people mad by saying that.
And if he is top 3, he's 3.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think Gronk's still my goat.
Gronk is
I-
right.
I-
Tony G is
I hated that team so much bro. I was a Giants fan, and that's why Brady can never be the goat because everybody
Yep.
knows Eli Manning is the goat.
No.
Elijah's the goat, baby.
Well, no, here's
The
the thing.
2-time baby.
Patriots,
But Gronk was the guy.
Patriots
I
fans are
actually
now
liked.
understanding why everyone hated them. Patriots fans understand now all this hate that was brought to them. Some
Well, it's also their
because
Patriots
now it's all
fans
being
too. and
it's
they're
all being
all
brought towards
assholes.
the Chiefs now because the same thing is happening. Keep fucking winning.
I mean, yeah.
Keep winning.
Trump said it best. We're gonna get tired of winning, and we are tired of winning, but not him. We're tired of Kadarius Toney winning games.
Kadarius, both Jets and Giants legend Kadarius Toney and Merkel Hardman are 2-time Super Bowl champions.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. I you guys know I'm not the biggest football guy, but
Yeah,
It's-
you watch the Giants.
it's hard.
That's it.
It's hard to see. I get to the Super Bowl, and I'm like, all right, it's time to lock into football. I love
watch the
football.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl is lit. And then I get there, and I was like, wait, I made a song about how much I hate the Super Bowl to this literal exact matchup. So, and then I watched it, and
You should have made
it was
the
horrible.
game. You should have made the second
I
one.
kept trying to get Jaden to, and he wouldn't.
You're pleading. I was like,
yeah,
please.
I was
No, it's
trying.
the same Super Bowl.
I was trying. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, you know, it's the same Super Bowl. We have to do it again, right? And then he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And as soon as the Super Bowl ended, we were looking around, and me and Anthony were like, let's fucking get out of
Man,
here.
this sucks.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
We're- All right, I think that's a good spot to end it right there.
Well, hold
Wait,
on.
we're out of
Let's
time
check
for the
time.
debate?
Yeah,
We're
we're
out of
just out of time for the growth
No.
debate. Thank you guys
Oh,
so much.
man.
Yeah, you know.
All right, next episode, guys. We promise.
We promise
episode.
we'll have the growth debate next episode.
We'll bring up the GOAT debate next episode.
On episode
We
5.
have
But
to-
hey, if you guys have to tune in if we're gonna do the quote debate, man. Like I feel like we don't prioritize it because nobody's tuning in. But
We
that's
need
another
the full
story.
audience.
Thank you to our 7 viewers that we love. I mean, you guys really are the
Actually,
reason
I
we do
love-
this.
Loving this shit. Hey, you're here to talk about ball talk, and we love balls.
We
all
love
right?
balls, every shape and size. And once again,
Color.
we apologize for no quote debate. We really do try to fit it in, but we just never have time. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you another day.